Hey guys, GHZD here, back with another video. As I'm sure you're already aware, the Halloween mega update went live yesterday. And when I say mega update, I mean mega update. Under the surface, there are a ton of quality of life changes to be enjoyed on top of the somewhat confusing mess that is the Parasite Chambers. I was kind of expecting this to be the case though, because it did take them a little while for this update to roll out, so I'm pretty keen that it's here. We'll start off with the most important stuff and then we'll work our way down. Obviously, the official release of the Parasite Chambers is the main feature of this update, being that it is a new permanent dungeon addition. This is an amazing dungeon. It implements a new dungeon scaling feature, so depending on the amount of people in each run, the HP of the enemies change. This means that things won't get absolutely steamrolled, which includes the treasure rooms, which are found in this dungeon. They're kind of like little chests and they just randomly spawn. I think the most I've seen that spawns so far is about 3. It's pretty straightforward. Get to the boss and kill it. They've implemented a way to interact with the environment to use it in the fight. The barrels located in almost every room can be collided with, and then they get pushed forward, kind of like a decoy would. When they collide with a wall or an enemy, they explode, subsequently armor breaking pretty much anything within their vicinity and removing any invulnerability status effects. What this means is it's required to make some enemies able to take damage, because some of them are permanently invulnerable. The barrels also affect yourself, so be careful of the blast radius. The boss has a heap of defense and invulnerability phases, as to be expected, so make sure to hit him with the barrels as much as possible. It's a pretty easy dungeon once you get the hang of it. A couple of tips I would give you though, if you've never done one before, is don't hug this wall. Even though it looks like there's a safe spot here, it pranks you a few seconds later, and then the damage is pretty damn high anyway. And if you're not too great at dodging, go on a priest. The heals will definitely help out a lot. Also, try and be aware of where the 2 barrels are in the boss room and where they're being fired. They can be tedious to aim with a lot of people, and you might not be able to see them if one's already in a crowd. Armor break in this fight can almost be an instant death if you're not careful. Just take a look at the Reddit if you want that answered for you. Now onto the stuff you actually care about, the new items. There are 3 of them this time, which include a new spell called the Reoccurring Terror Spell. Really cool name, by the way. Its shots have a parametric pattern and kind of act like boomerangs, if that makes sense. There's a scepter called the Scepter of Devastation. It does up to 1000 plus damage when equipped with max whiz. However, it only has 1 target, which can be boosted to, I believe, 3 if you use wisdom boosting sets. And finally, there's a tome for the priest called the Tome of Pain that does up to 500 damage with a priest's maximum wisdom and can heal up to 200 using the same logic. From what I've seen, they're semi-common as far as white bags are concerned, so hopefully it shouldn't be too much grinding for you. You can purchase Parasite Chamber keys, or you can search for these places. I'm not actually sure what they're called. Think of them kind of like you would a cemetery that spawns in the highlands, so you just have to wander around the outside of the godlands, and then you'll stumble across them eventually. Then this thing, I don't know what that is, will drop the portal. The good thing is, because the dungeon does scale its enemy's HP depending on how many people are in there, I'd imagine it wouldn't be too hard to solo. On top of this, the Nexus changed, obviously, and like true Decker fashion, have hidden a few Easter eggs here and there. You can go through this portal up at the top left, which teleports you all the way to the corner of the map, into a little cottage. There's also a maze that you can find by locating the faint tiles right at the top of the minimap that indicate the entrance. It's a little hard to see, but if you look hard enough, you'll find them. I'm warning you though, this thing takes a while as it expands the entirety of the outside of the map and progressively gets more convoluted and complex. Someone already mapped out the entire thing, so good luck. I attempted it myself, took me a bloody long time, and then I DC'd at the end, so fantastic. There's also a ton of flying entities outside the Nexus that will pile up if you stand still, one of which is Spooky Boy, so don't be alarmed because he is passive this time. Like most thematic updates, Decker also releases grindable content in the forms of tokens. This time round there are 2 types, the pumpkin seeds, which drop as pumpkins, and I believe you consume them to generate the token itself. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is for some reason, which drop from the zombie horde, the pumpkin shrine, and Oryx 2. Then there are bone tokens, which you find by killing bone piles that randomly spawn all over the map, though I find that they spawn a lot more often in the Godlands. The tokens seem to have a ridiculously low drop rate, so I'm not really sure how farmable they actually are. I certainly know I won't have the time to attempt getting all 50, however if you do manage to collect 50 pumpkin tokens, you can redeem them to get the Helm of the Juggernaut, which is a Juggernaut reskin, which I guess kind of explains why these tokens are pretty uncommon. The bone tokens, however, can be redeemed to get the Haunted Robe Wizard skin, kind of like the Headless Horseman skin from last year. And like usual, Deca announced the next wave of skins, because we all know it wouldn't be a proper Deca update without them. From what I can see, there are definitely some really cool ones in here. There's also an event reward this time that requires the community as a whole to spend up to a collective 20 million fame over the course of the event. Now, it sounds like a massive amount, but they provided some statistics to give us a bit of perspective on this matter. So during Month of the Mad God, the community apparently spent a total of 78,584,700 fame on the Craig boxes alone. Remember those things that you could only spin like 5 times? Yeah, those things. Which is absurd. So if that's anything to go off, we should really easily hit the top tier reward once they roll out the Halloween fame boxes. The rewards include the Candy of Extreme Wisdom and Extreme Dex. It might sound pretty mundane, but keep in mind these will instantly max your stat regardless of what level you are or how many potions you have left to go. So you could theoretically drink a Dex candy on a level 1 rogue and instantly max its Dex to 75 with 1 consumable. So it's pretty powerful stuff, not gonna lie. There's also been changes to bag types. Orange bags now drop STs, skins, pet skins, dyes, cloths, keys, and pet food. Gold bags drop tokens, marks, turrets, and treasures. And the old red bags drop the tier 13 and tier 14 armors and unbound rings. So it's a nice little way to differentiate the items you're getting. Whether or not you like what the bags look like is completely subjective, so whatever. What's also really nice is that using loot boosting potions no longer makes every item a red bag. Instead, the bags have the same shape, but are colored according to their rarity types. So you can actually just get chubby white bags now, just another way to be able to differentiate the drops you're getting. Now onto some quality of life changes. I'll cover over my favorites and I'll let you guys read the rest, but portals now flash when they have 5 seconds left before they despawn. Loot bags also have this feature, which is really nice now. You'll have a reduction in the amount of stress when you're waiting for your guildie to TP to you and not knowing how long the portal has left before it despawns. So that's really nice. Thank you, Deca, for that one. There's also a new experimental setting that allows you to see your XP gain even when you're level 20. So that's really cool. You can now drop items like the good old days just by dragging straight out of the bag. This hasn't been a feature for a good few years now, and I love that they brought this back, which also means that low tier items, so up to tier 9 weapons, tier 4 abilities, and tier 10 armors, aren't soulbound anymore, so you can drop them once again. On top of this, uncommon eggs, tinctures, cocktails, and the wooden boxes are no longer soulbound. And there's now 15 seconds of invulnerability when the realm generation occurs, meaning that you can no longer die to Oryx lag, which is awesome. So no more excuses, I guess. Anyway guys, that pretty much wraps up the bulk of the update. There's a ton of stuff I didn't mention, so be sure to check out the patch notes, which I'll link in the description. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Peace.